Very well. We're going to proceed with the mandatory. I'm sorry? Let me ask. I kindly ask you to please take your seats. We're going to begin with the mandatory session of this convention. We're going to begin with the heavyweight division. The current status of the heavyweight division is as follows. Champion Tyson Fury. He made his mandatory title defense on April 23rd against Dillian White. He is in a voluntary stage. He's scheduled to fight Derek Chisora on December the 3rd in London. The WBC ordered a series of fights which included Andy Ruiz against Ortiz, Wilder against Helenius, and both winners to meet to determine the mandatory contender of the division. So the WBC will sanction Ruiz against Wilder as a final elimination for the mandatory position in the heavyweight division. We also have in the Silver Championship an agreement in which the new champion I'm trying to find the ratings. The new champion, Arslanbek Magdudnov, sorry for the pronunciation, must face Sisan Kasuboski in a mandatory defense of the vacant title that he won. Are there any comments from the floor? Anyone wishes to address the heavyweight division?
Any comments from the board?
No.
Hi, Anthony Rodman.
Okay, then the status of the. Oh, I'm sorry. There are comments from Mr. Anthony Rodman from Eye of the Tiger.
Exactly. Thank you, Alberto. I believe I've heard that there has been an agreement for Arslanbek to face Kusubuski. Not to my knowledge.
Excuse me, can you come closer to the microphone because...
Is that better? Perfect. So I just heard that there has been an agreement between WBC silver champion Arslanbek Makhmudov to face Kosobuski. Not to my knowledge. There has been some discussions in the hallway. However, we don't see why Arslanbek would have to face immediately Kusubuski. There's some leading contenders between Arslanbek and Kusubuski, such as Joshua, Dillian White, etc. We believe that if there's a mandatory that is being asked, it should be the leading contender or the leading available contenders, and not Kusubuski, whose rank, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, number 8 or 9.
No, but the Silver Championship is a different from the World Championship. So when the champion won a vacant title, he's committed to do a mandatory defense. We had received a petition for the vacant title before, and the WBC approved your fight with the condition that he would face the other fighter that had been requested the fight before. But
I was not aware of that, Mauricio, to be honest. And as you may remember, we obviously, us, Mike George, and other people from the WBC, we had discussions in Las Vegas about the WBC Silver Championship. I don't recall any obligations to fight a specific opponent as a mandatory defense. And so again, and with all due respect, I believe that there are other heavyweight fighters that should come before Kosobuski for Arslanbek to face. And that's the petition that I'm making, that we go through the rankings and that we try to make that fight with the leading contenders. And I understand that it's not a world championship, but I believe that the quality of fighters between Arslanbek and Kosobuski, we should have a chance to fight against these guys first.
I respect your opinion. We will send to you the WBC rules and regulations so you can get familiar. A fighter who wins a vacant title has commitments and obligations. Those commitments and obligations are exclusively imposed by the WBC Board of Governors. You may have your opinion, and we respect it, but that was the situation, the absolute, how it happened, and the fight that has been ordered is the one that we have described.
Very well. I will, and I'm aware of the rules and regulations.
Is there a scheduled fight that your champion has?
Yes, he has.
Then this order will be after that contracted fight that you already have, if that was your concern.
Yes, so indeed, he has a fight on December 16, 2022. And I will look into, can you just tell me, Mr. Suleiman, where I can find the decision about, the board for Arslanbek to fight Kosobuski?
This is ridiculous. Please, go to the website and find the rules, okay?
I apologize for that, but
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm done. It's okay. It's decided. So I don't need to talk. Thank you very much.
¿Se vota? Okay. Bridgerweight division. Oscar Rivas is the champion. Silver champion Allen Babik. Oscar Rivas is scheduled to defend against Lucas Rosanski. This fight was scheduled many, many months ago. It was to take place in Colombia with 3 different change of dates, then in Canada, and it has finally been confirmed to take place February in Poland. Is Oscar Rivas, Yvonne Michel. Everything is confirmed for February.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. President, Board of Governors. I just want to mention that before we go, that my first convention was in 1992, and since then I haven't missed much. And I have to tell you, this is one of the best conventions that I ever attended, and I want to congratulate you, Mr. President, and all the board. This is really great what you're doing for the industry of boxing. Yes, as you know, we had suffered several postponements for Rivas to defend in his own country in Colombia.
Excuse me one moment, please. Le quiero pedir a todos aquellos que no están involucrados en la sesión que por favor pueden salir al pasillo a platicar porque hay demasiado ruido. Señor, les voy a agradecer mucho su atención. Por favor, pueden salir al pasillo. Hay mucho espacio y hay comida rica, pero necesitamos tener concentración para esta sesión que son temas muy delicados.
So Oscar Rivas was first supposed to fight his mandatory contender, who was Evgeny Romanov. We know what has happened with the invasion of Russia to Ukraine, and so we have made a deal with the number 2 contender, who was Lucas Rosanski, and finally we will be doing that fight February 25th in the city of Rizzo in Poland with Andrew Wasilewski, who is the promoter, the main promoter of Poland. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I did not clearly understand.
Sorry, the name of the city?
No, the fight is scheduled to take place.
It's already all signed, everything is done. It's going to be February 25th in Rizzo, Poland.
Okay. Rivas won a vacant title, and he was allowed a voluntary defense before he would face Romanov, who was injured, and now he's not available due to the status of his citizenship of Russia. Rivas must make 2 mandatory defenses. So we have, you're fighting against Rosanski, and the WBC will order a final elimination between the 2 highest available contenders, which are silver champion Alen Babic and Riyad Merli. And Rosanski is ranked number 3. So we're going to order the final elimination. The winner must fight against the mandatory contender.
That's no problem. And we didn't know about the title elimination, but after the Rosanski fight, we had already some discussion to fight against Alan Babic, but we'll be pleased to fight the winner of Babic Murray with no problem.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very
Are
much.
there any other comments on Bridgerweight division?
Any comments from the board? If not, we'll move to the next division and we'll do the approval at the end.
Just to confirm, the WBC orders Alen Babic against Riyad Mieri from Belgium for the final elimination and to face the winner of Rivas Rosanski. We move to the Cruiserweight division. The champion of the world is Ilunga Makabu, who is here. Welcome, Ilunga. And the silver champion is Noel Mikaelian. I believe he's also here. I've seen in the convention. I don't know if he's in the room. Noel? Okay. Ilunga has been granted a voluntary title defense, and his next fight after the voluntary must be the mandatory defense. Are there any comments from the floor?
Mauricio, on behalf of Noel
Excuse me, can
Michaeli,
you please state your name?
Tony Gonzalez, on behalf of Noel Michaeli, we are petitioning for him to become the mandatory in the Cruiserweight division. February, he just beat Yuri Malenga for the international title, or the silver title, excuse me.
Noel has been ordered a series of fights, and he has complied with every single one, contrary to some of the happenings that happen. And Makabu has not made the mandatory defenses. So I would like to propose that Noel Mikaelian is named mandatory contender of the division, and that we order Tabisu Machunu from South Africa to fight Badu Jack in a final elimination bout. Are there any comments? Any other comments from the floor? ¿Eso se tiene que haber un motion para votar estas o no? Okay. So the status of the Cruiserweight division, Makabu will have a voluntary defense as contracted. Mikael Nikolian. I'm having a bad day today, and I didn't drink tequila. Noel Mikaelian is the mandatory contender of the Cruiserweight division, and we order Tabisu Mashunu against Badu Jack in a final elimination.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board? If not, we'll move to the next division.
Light heavyweight. champion Artur Beterbiev. Arthur will make his mandatory of the WBO on January of next year. And Callum Smith, who is a mandatory contender, will take a tune-up fight as commented by Matchroom yesterday. If Callum Smith loses that fight, he will lose the mandatory position. And the winner of Beterbiev and his mandatory must face the mandatory of the WBC next. Are there any comments from the floor?
Any comments from the board? If not, we'll move to the next division.
Super middleweight division. WBC champion and undisputed champion Saul Alvarez, Canelo Alvarez. Interim champion David Benavides. Silver champion Ali Akhmedov. Canelo Alvarez has underwent surgery and is currently in rehabilitation. We are going to request a status from our champion to assess the time in which he will be available to return to defend his title. Samson.
Samson Lukowicz from Samson Boxing LLC, representing David El Bandera Roja Benavides. We humbly will request that the next fight of Benavides, it will be most likely in March against Carol Plant, and the winner, it must be the mandatory without any excuse and fight Canelo. And I want to have all the board to make the approved today that it will be the final elimination, defending his interim title, and it will be the only mandatory for the next fight of Canelo Alvarez. I will say Saul Canelo Alvarez. If you make a vote now, it'd be appreciated.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the floor? So we have interim champion David Benavides fighting number one contender Caleb Plant. Sensational fight. And the request is that the winner becomes the mandatory contender of the division. So it is absolutely acceptable to have this type of fight, to have the mandatory contender. Are there any comments from the board?
There are no comments of the board. We'll move to the next division.
So please confirm the date of Caleb Plant against Benavides.
It'll be definitely in March.
In March.
But beside that, you didn't say Canelo, you say another name. You say Smith. Can you repeat your question?
Caleb Plant will fight Benavides.
Correct.
For the
It's a
interim,
signed contract.
for the interim title, and the winner will become the mandatory contender of the division to fight against Canelo Alvarez.
Okay, but I want to have a vote for that. I want everybody say that they agree.
What? I'm sorry?
It's supposed to be an agreement, and every one of you vote and mandate that
Samson.
championship elimination.
It has been agreed. Please sit down, Jesus Christ.
Because you never raised nobody the hands. I get accustomed to raise the hands when
unanimous
everybody's
agreed.
happy.
Nobody has any comments. Then it's a mandatory.
It's no second motion.
No, we will do a motion and approve all the divisions at the end of the session.
Thank you for your explanation. Thank you.
We're becoming modern, Samson. Now it's modernity. We don't have to. Yes.
Anthony Rodman for Eye of the Tiger. We promote and represent Christian Mbili, who's ranked number 2nd in the rankings, and he is also the WBC Continental Americas champion. I understand that Caleb Plant is going to face David Benavidez for the interim, and that the winner of that fight is going to be the mandatory. What I would like to ask respectfully to you, Mr. President, and the board, is for Mbili to fight in a final elimination fight against Ali Akhmedov, and to eventually have his chance to fight for the title.
The problem with your request is the times, because the mandatory is 1 year between mandatory and mandatory. We could order that fight, but it cannot be conditioned to be a mandatory with the rights, because there's no time frame where we can commit. Most likely it will be next convention when we can assess. But if you do a fight with Ali Akhmedov, who is number 5, we'll certainly position him in the highest position and highest respect of level through the process of 2023. But I don't believe we can commit to a 2-year mandatory process.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mbili will be fighting on December 17, so there's going to be the elimination fight that I'm requesting. Respectfully, will not be in 2022, but somewhere in 2023. It doesn't have to be a final eliminator, which leads to a mandatory position.
That is perfect. If you amend your request to a semi-final elimination bout, he is the silver champion.
Indeed. So I amend my request accordingly.
Yeah, and Billy and Akhmedov is the silver. So Americas against silver, a semi-final elimination is absolutely approvable.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay.
Next division.
We go to the middleweight division. Champion is Germán Charlo. Interim champion Carlos Adames, who is here. Welcome, Carlos. A great pride of the WBC. What a sensational victory, and what a career you're having. Muchas felicidades, campeón. Muchas felicidades. And the silver champion is Hamzam Shiraz. Shiraz is going to be defending the title later this week. Is someone representing Germán Charlo? Is TGB Promotions represented? I know they were here yesterday for the ratings. Charlo is currently recovering from an injury. That is why the WBC ordered the interim championship. We will assess what is the status of Germán, and in the meantime, Carlos Adames is free to defend the interim championship. So there is no issue. Once we understand the situation of Charlo, we will assess the division. Campeón, ¿tiene algún comentario, alguna petición que quisiera hacer?
Gracias, buenas tardes, imagino que ya es mediodía. Gracias a usted por la oportunidad, gracias a todos por venir. Unas palabras breves, no creo que tenga mucho que agregar sobre el comentario que voy a hacer. Como pueden ver, soy el campeón mandatorio contra Germán Charlo. Espero que la pelea se me pueda dar con él, porque no pienso ser campeón elevado, me gustaría pelear con él. Si no se puede, en caso de que no se pueda, señor Mauricio se encarga de hacer las peleas mandatorias, eso no se pueda, si pudiera elevarme o subir de peso, porque creo que estoy en el derecho de reclamar mi pelea. Espero que se me tome en cuenta como se me ha tomado anterior. Gracias por de nuevo la oportunidad de representarlo como atleta en su asociación. Espero pronto de nuevo volver a estar arriba del cuadrilátero representándolo. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, campeón. ¿Su petición es ser nombrado retador oficial ya para Charlo?
Exacto. Sí, en caso de que se pueda, me gustaría ser el primero en pelear con él.
Muchas gracias. Interim champion Adames is requesting that he is named mandatory challenger to champion Charlo. As I explained, we're going to assess the status of his injury and determine, but we need to confirm that Adames is named mandatory. Are there any questions from the floor? I mean, from the... Okay, you have a...
Well, I have to say something in acceleration. It be in Spanish, like this, the champion, you can hear me directly. Cuando peleo con mi boxeador Juanito Montiel, en el pesaje, él rehusó darle la mano a su retador o oponente. Públicamente dije que eso no era correcto y que Adames no representaba a la República Dominicana, sin saber que la semana antes de eso, o días antes, perdió a su hija, que falleció, que tuvo problemas con la visa. Por esa razón, él hizo esa acción y quiero públicamente pedirle perdón.
Muchas gracias, Samson. Campeón, queremos expresar nuestras condolencias. Usted ha pasado por cosas muy difíciles, pero el boxeo es el que lo mantiene aquí. ¿Quería decir algo, perdón?
Sí, gracias, Samson. No hay de qué perdonarte por nada. Sabemos que este es boxeo. En ese momento yo sabía, estaba en mi campamento, estaba trabajando, no pude estar con mi esposa, que acababa de perder mi criatura, acababa de nacer. No pude estar ahí, luego tuve tiempo de perder mi visa, tuve que recoger mi visa y luego ir y competir en ese momento. Para mí fue algo muy doloroso, pero a pesar de tanto esfuerzo y sacrificio, pude sacar la mejor parte de mi combate y dar lo mejor de mí sobre el ring. Pienso que Dios tiene un propósito para mí y pienso cumplirlo más adelante en todo mi combate.
Muchas gracias. Carlos Adames was preparing for his fight for the interim title, and he lost his children, his kid, his newborn. He could not go to be with his wife, to her side, and then he had tremendous problems with the visa. Until the last moment, he was able to board the flight to take the fight, and he won convincingly. And the beautiful moment from Samson, there were very complicated issues at the weigh-in, and now they have mended, and I'm very proud of this moment. So, felicidades, campeón. Usted es retador obligatorio para Germán Charlo. Vamos a ver cuál es su estado de salud, que nos den el reporte exacto y así se lo haremos saber de inmediato.
Gracias, de nuevo.
Muchas gracias. Peso Super Welter, campeón Germán Charlo, campeón interino Sebastián Fundora, campeón Silver Tony Harrison. Y Sebastián Fundora, he has been here. He's not here, otherwise we will see him for sure.
Yeah.
He's on the beach. Samson Lukowicz from Samson Boxing again, LLC. Sebastian Fundora is something very special for boxing, for the way he is, for how humble he is. And humble as he requests to fight the champion. We schedule for February or March to fight someone that will be in the top 10. Tony Harrison, it looked like he's not available. So we will fight one more fight, an interim fight. And at the same time, Charles fighting is mandatory. But after that, we request to be absolutely the mandatory for Charlo. That is the request of Sebastian La Torre Infernal Fundora.
So, just one moment. Charlo is scheduled to fight in January against Siu. That is the WBO mandatory with the agreement that the winner must make the WBC mandatory. It is your petition that Fundora is named the WBC mandatory.
Correct.
Okay. Are you planning to make a title defense before or just?
Yes, he will fight most likely, I will say March. We don't have the challenge yet. We offer him to Tony Harrison that it doesn't look like he have decide to fight. I don't know the reason though.
Okay, so we will proceed mandating. I'm sorry, do you have a comment? Oh, please. Champion.
So, Alicia Baumgartner, Unified Champion of the World. I'm speaking on behalf of Tony, who is my trainer. I'm saying that he is prepared to fight, and I think it's great to have Tony Harrison back on the scene and to make this fight happen again and to give the 154 division the fight that it deserves.
Perfect. So,
Let me take his word. She's a great champion. I hope so. She representing correct. You tell him to Tony that he had the fight in March.
Say it again.
Yeah, to have a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to get him back in there, have the fight, and make the division where we need it to be. Yes, absolutely.
So
Thank
we
you.
have a fight with Tony Harrison.
perfect. Tony Harrison is a very dear former champion of the WBC. He lost his father at the beginning of the pandemic to COVID-19, and he has been always very close to us. Please send them our best regards, and I am very happy for this resolution. So we have Fundora against Harrison, final elimination for the interim title, and the winner to fight the winner of Charlo versus Siu.
Thank you.
Mauricio, sorry if I can just quickly add something not related to that.
Can you
but
please state your name?
Richard Schaefer from Probellum. So I was going to say yesterday we approved Conwell, it was number 5, is going to be fighting number 9, Abreu, for the international title. And I said yesterday that I want to come up here and ask that it's going to be considered as an eliminator as well. I have put that request in writing as well to the WBC a couple weeks ago. Has that been approved as an eliminator?
Yes, Abreu, that is correct. It is not a final elimination, but it is a WBC official elimination.
Okay, perfect.
You
Thank you.
send that in writing, that has
Yes.
been approved.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Any comments from the board? If there are no comments,
Let me do a quick recap. Charlo will defend against Siu. Fundora will fight Harrison, final elimination. The winner of Siu, Charlo, committed to fight of the winner of Fundora, Harrison. And there's a semi-final elimination between Abreu and Charles Conwell. That's correct, Richard? Yes. As a semi-final elimination bout.
okay, with that recap now, if there are no comments from the board, we'll move to the next division.
Welterweight division, champion, Errol Spence, who very unfortunately, after many months of high expectations by the boxing world, the boxing fans, the fight against Crawford was not materialized. The WBC had all the flexibility, and the WBC made every effort for that fight to happen. It did not, so we must now proceed with the mandatory title defense, which is Keith Thurman. The WBC hereby orders Thurman against Errol Spence. Are there any comments from the floor? Any comments from the board?
If no comments from the floor, yeah. Any board comments? If there are no comments from the board, then we'll move to the next division.
Super lightweight division, the title is vacant. On November 26, Jose Cepeda will fight against Regis Prograis for the vacant title. Mar Promotions is present. Are you in the room? We like to wish you great success. When you take a promotional company with such interest for the sport, we have to do everything possible to support the promoters. You're taking a big risk. You won a very big purse bid. We congratulate you and we offer you full WBC support for this promotion. So I want to welcome you to the WBC family, and I'm sure you're here to stay for many years to come. Congratulations. The fight is November 26. The winner will fight in his first mandatory title defense, former champion Jose Carlos Ramirez, as per agreed from his petition that the WBC accepted as he just got married. The WBC is ordering Teofimo Lopez. Don Majeski, you are representing Top Rank and Teofimo Lopez, correct? Yes. You were going to verify what's the status of Teofimo Lopez and his availability.
Yes. They said he's available. He's fighting Pedraza in December in Madison Square Garden. And after that, he would be available for whatever elimination or whatever bout you would want him to have.
So the WBC orders Teofimo Lopez against Sandor Martin as a final elimination bout for the second mandatory fight of this interim title. Of this vacant title. Are there any other comments from the floor? Any comments from the board?
If no comments from the board, we'll move to the lightweight division.
WBC champion, Devin Haney. Devin Haney, Salvatore.
Presidente, muchas gracias a ti y a todo el board por la oportunidad que donas a Sandor Martí. Muchas gracias a todos.
Ahora sí sonríes y ayer me estabas mentando. Gracias, Salvatore, por la confianza y la paciencia y lealtad. WBC champion Devin Haney, he is a true example, a true pride for the WBC. We are extremely gratified with Devin Haney process. He began with the WBC Youth Championship. He won his first 3-4 fights in Tijuana, Mexico, proving that such system of fighting the early times is something that has helped. You have to close the full cycle in order to make a superstar. Many fighters are pushed way too fast when they are very good prospects, and they are burned out, and they end up not being the great superstars. I am sure Haney is and will be a superstar for many years to come. He won the youth championship, the NABF, the international, the silver. He then won the interim title, then the WBC title, and now today he's undisputed in the lightweight division. He's a great pride of the WBC. He will be fighting most probably Lomachenko. We have not received final confirmation. Don Majeski, I don't know if he received any confirmation. That has been reported, and at this time there is no mandatory in the lightweight division. Yes, Samson.
Samson Lukowicz from Samson Boxing LLC. I request to be the next 4 available contender to have a mandatory position, which is mean not the final, to fight the number 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. Also, whatever may be, because it's so important to keep busy the fighters, especially when we have a great champion with 4 belts. So you need to earn. The way to earn is be in a mini tournament that the winner must fight the champion.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the first 4 or 5, which one of those is Pablo Vicente.
Yes. This division, lightweight, is full of great talent, and having a undisputed champion, it has been the goal of the WBC to participate with all other organizations trying to keep the undisputed champions as undisputed and not lose their titles because of mandatory situations. So we are making an effort to achieve that. Could you please confirm if Devin Haney is fighting Vasily Lomachenko?
I was told today that fight is going to take place. But you know what? Can you give me 5 minutes and I'll give you the absolute updated information? Give me 5 minutes and I'll come back to you. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
This is 135. Pablo's 130. Pablo's 130. He's getting there.
No, I'm telling you, this something wrong with your tequila.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I never make a mistake. I will never drink any more tequila without to see the brand. I'm telling you from now. That's it. Finish. You give me a cheap tequila.
We will wait for Don Majeski to confirm. Super featherweight division.
Okay.
The super featherweight division, the champion is a title vacant. The title is vacant. We're going to have Oshaki Foster fight for the vacant championship on a special petition from Rey Vargas to compete as featherweight champion, to move up and fight for the super featherweight championship. ¿Pueden pasar a la siguiente división, por favor? Against Oshaki Foster. Richard, is there a date for that fight?
Richard Schaefer, Probellum. Yes, that fight has been confirmed. I have agreed with Al on the terms. It's going to happen on one of 2 dates in January.
Rey Vargas, ¿está todavía aquí campeón? ¿Quiere decir algo? Usted va a disputar el título vacante.
Gracias a todos. Y bueno, pues estoy muy contento, gracias a toda la mesa CMB, a todo el equipo, por esta nueva oportunidad de una nueva diadema, superpluma, que no vamos a desaprovechar esta oportunidad. Estoy aquí para... Ahora somos enemigos, ¿eh? Sí, ahorita. No vamos a desaprovechar esto. Es una oportunidad que se presenta y queremos hacer historia. Estoy aquí para pelear. Gracias a Dios somos campeones del mundo, invictos en 2 divisiones MB. ¿Y por qué no una tercera? Se abre esta puerta y así es que vamos por ella. Gracias.
Gracias.
Ok, te deseamos todo el éxito, que Dios te bendiga, campeón, y a poner a México en alto como siempre. We wish Oshaki Foster, who has been a silver champion for many years, the best of luck. It's a great fight between 2 great kids, so best of luck, Richard.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. We will...
In the same division, since this is for a vacant title, I don't know if this is the time now, but I understand that the champion, whoever it's going to be, is going to have 2 mandatories. So I would like to petition that one of those mandatories will be number 1 ranked Rocky Hernandez.
So the vacant championship must make 2 mandatory title defenses. And there is a request for Eduardo Rocky Hernandez, who is the silver championship and the international silver champion. So your request is to name him the first mandatory of the division.
That's correct.
Does anyone move to allow to confirm Rocky Hernandez as the mandatory of the division?
Hussein Huishi moves, and he's second. Mauro Betti seconds. All of those in favor, please raise your hand.
Okay.
That passes.
So Rocky Hernandez is a mandatory contender for the winner, and we will order a final elimination bout between Robson Concenciao and Muhammad Yakubov for the second final elimination, for the second mandatory. Any comments from the floor or from the board?
Yeah, I believe Sansom has some comments.
Well, I believe it's too late. It was good, tequila. Tequila! I bring me white water. There's nothing else to say. If we do a tournament, most likely we'll have a chance in 2025. So it's too late for that. Thank you.
I think you're still drunk. What did you say?
Which I mean, I withdraw my petition. This is what I mean.
What petition, Samson?
To make a tournament, but if you have a first mandatory and then the second mandatory, you have 2 years.
What tournament are you talking about?
On 130 this time. I have a coffee now. What I'm saying that I have a Pablo Vicente, but if we fight for a tournament to get to the top and mandatory, you have 2 mandatory before.
Well,
because you have one now
Pablo
and
Vicente
one after.
Is
Mr. Richard Sheffer took over.
Okay, thank you, Samson.
I gave up on him. Thank you. I withdraw the petition.
So, Don Majeski, on behalf of Devin Haney, I just spoke to his father, his manager, and also on behalf of Top Rank, I just got off the phone with Carl Moretti. Yeah, definitely in negotiation for the fight with Lomachenko. That will take place, so they are 100% there. And also from Top Rank that the Shakur Stevenson will participate in a tournament if you order that to determine the next mandatory contender. He's the number 3. So Haney, Lomachenko, yes, and Stevenson will commit to any tournament that you order at the 135-pound division.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
So, going back to lightweight, just to wrap it up, Devin Haney will fight against Lomachenko, and Isaac Cruz won a semi-final elimination bout, and we should order Isaac Cruz against Shakur Stevenson as a final elimination bout for the mandatory of the division. Are there any comments from the board?
If no comments from the board, since we just did the 130 as well, then we'll go down to
No,
featherweight.
so we confirm Cruz against Stevenson, final elimination. Okay.
So then we can, Mauricio, are you going to vas a hacer un report del super feather?
Super featherweight, as we agreed, Foster against Vargas for the vacant title. The first mandatory is Rocky Hernandez. Second mandatory will come from Concenciao against Jakubov. Okay?
If there are no other comments, then we'll move to featherweight.
Featherweight division. Rey Vargas is a champion. He will be contesting the Super Featherweight Championship. After that fight, he will decide in which division he will continue to fight. We received a petition to have number one contender Figueroa to fight a rematch against Fulton, who conquered the title against Figueroa in Super Bantamweight. The WBC Board of Governors approved to allow Fulton to move up to featherweight and fight Brandon Figueroa for the WBC Interim Featherweight Championship. If Vargas does not return, that fight will be for the title. If not, the winner will fight against Vargas. We would like to order a final elimination bout between Mark Magsayo and Isaac Dogbo for the mandatory of the division. Are there any comments from the floor?
Any comments from the board? Oh, I'm sorry. There is a comment from the floor.
Yeah, hi, Sean Gibbons, representing Manny Pacquiao Promotions. We'd just like to thank the WBC for ordering that final eliminator for Mark, and we're happy to accept it. Thank you.
Any other comments? Board? If no comments, we'll move to the next division.
Don Majeski, no, I'm sorry. You represent Isaac Dogbo? Dogboe? Okay.
I'm not sure, I better check. Is he with Top Rank? Yeah, so go ahead. Yes, whatever you want to do with them two, that's to the advantage, we say yes. That's you have a blanket yes for me, yes. If he's moving up, it's yes. If he's moving down, it's no. Just take that as a general directive on anything you want to know from me.
Okay. We go to Super Bantamweight division. Current champion, Stephen Fulton. He will fight in the featherweight division. So I would like to order Luis Neri against Asad Hovanesian from Armenia as a final elimination bout for the mandatory contender. Are there any comments on the floor?
Yes, Mr. President. Marshall Kaufman from King's Promotions. As we spoke yesterday about Rais Aleem, I think Aleem needs to be in that fight with one of those top two contenders as well. If that fight's already made, if we can have Aleem in place to fight one of the top two of the winner of that fight.
Aleem, he's going to fight against who?
Aleem just fought.
Oh, he just fought?
Correct.
Okay. What we can do is order Aleem to fight David Picasso,
That's fine.
and the two winners face each other either for a vacant title or the mandatory position.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sí, en representación de Luis Neri y de Picasso, sí aceptamos los combates para buscar el campeonato de peso supergallo.
Muy bien, perfecto. We go to Bantamweight, please. WBC champion Naoya Inoue and silver champion Jason Maloney. Not sure if Jason is still here. You have been a great surprise. You're a very dear friend, and I'm very proud of you. I see him every morning at 6 going to do a workout, while I see some others at 6 coming back from the party, but you're doing very well, champ. We have Inoue making a unification bout in December for the undisputed championship. Jason Maloney was here with Nonito Donaire, and it was agreed that they will fight each other. If Inoue moves up in weight, that fight will be for the vacant title. So that has been the order. Is there something that you would like to say?
Don, representing Jason Maloney and Tony Tolge, we're requesting, it's been a policy in the past of the WBC, that I know that the franchise title has been abolished, and that we just don't have a regular champion.
Has been what?
You're not using the franchise title any longer because under normal circumstances, I knew he would have been a franchise champ because multiple titles and he was a super great fighter, right?
No, the franchise designation is still,
okay.
But it has to be a petition.
I see.
So there's no petition
Right.
at this time. We're going to see Chocolatito fight with Estrada, and the franchise in that division will be finished. So.
Okay, so he was requesting, as it had been in a policy at certain times in the past, I was involved with this with Lennox Lewis and Razor Ruddock, and I remember Ken Norton against Jimmy Young, and they fought elimination bouts, but when the champion vacated the title, the winner was declared champ. But we know that the mandatory contender is Donaire, a legendary great fighter. No question about it. Nobody's disputing that. If you could declare Jason the champion and fighting Donaire at the same split, if it had to go to a purse bid, as there would be if it was a vacant title. So he's not disadvantaged financially.
Well, I don't really understand because we don't know.
Yeah, if Inoue moves up and vacates the title, obviously.
We usually do not rule on what if.
Hypothesis, I get
but, you have something to say, Richard?
Yeah, Richard Schaefer from Probellum. Unfortunately, yesterday, dear members, you remember I requested Nonito Donaire to be ranked #1 because I was afraid that my good friends at Top Rank are going to try to pull something like that. And I agreed yesterday that, okay, we're going to be fighting for the vacant title if it's vacant, and I think you should leave it at that. There's absolutely no need whatsoever to elevate Maloney to a champion.
No, Maloney cannot be elevated to a champion because he is silver champion.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So they're going to be fighting most likely for a vacant title.
Yeah, and listen, there's no manipulation to get out. We want this fight 100%. Here's Jason to tell you that. Here's his promoter to tell you that. Here's me to tell you that. Any other party involved with this, it's irrelevant to us what they say.
Well,
I'm
then I
telling
think
you
you
and your
should leave
boss.
it. Then you should leave it the way the WBC ordered it yesterday, and not be up here and ask these requests.
Well, look, I'd like then to table the request till after we see what happens with Inoue. At least that maybe it's too premature.
We stay with
and
what
whatever
we
your
have.
ruling, we'll accept.
The fight is ordered. The fight will be for the title in case Inoue moves up.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the ruling. Is
Thank
there
you.
anything you would like to add? It was so nice yesterday, and now we start fighting.
There's no fight here. We accept. Yes.
Let's see Maloney and Nonito
Go
shake
ahead.
hands. All right. First face off.
Yeah.
Now you go. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Let's do a face off up here.
You're going up. We should do a face-off with Richard Schaefer.
There's no need to pushing and shoving and saying bad words. These are two nice kids that they're following their dreams. This is boxing.
Can I request a face-off between Richard Schaefer and Bob Arum? So we really love one another.
We leave that for Bob and me, okay?
You got it.
That'll be a nice face off. Don Majeski and and Richard. Join them.
Oh, I like this guy.
Is someone representing Emmanuel Rodriguez in the room? Because I believe he's an IBF mandatory. I was told something. Sean.
On behalf of Tom Brown at TGB Promotions, Emmanuel Rodriguez fought Gary Russell for the IBF number 2 to be in line when Inoue possibly vacates. Number 1's being fought for, so pretty much he is going for the IBF when the belt becomes vacant.
So I would like to recommend that we order Nawapon Sorrung Bisay to fight Raymar Graballo from the Philippines for the final elimination bout. Are there any comments from the floor? Any comments from the board? So that fight, if there is a vacant title, that would be one of the mandatories for the new championship. So we will order this fight.
That's great. Thank you. On behalf of Raymar Caballo, thank you to the WBC.
Okay, the next category, please.
Champion, the title is vacant. It's going to be contested between franchise Juan Francisco Estrada and Chocolatito Gonzalez. As you all know, we did a huge, long process for this fight to happen, which included the designation as franchise and a tournament which resulted in a new superstar, Jesse Rodriguez. He has decided to move down, and we wish him great success in his upcoming fight in Flyweight. We will have Estrada against Gonzalez for the vacant title on December 3rd. Are there any comments from the floor?
Pedro Guevara, vengo principalmente para pedir la oportunidad de enfrentar al ganador de Juan Francisco Estrada y Román González del próximo 3 de diciembre. Hasta el día de ayer, tengo entendido, si me equivoco me corrigen, estaba en número 2, pero me movieron a número 3. Entonces, en caso de no aceptar esta petición, pues al menos la eliminatoria contra el que está en número 2, que creo que es Moloney, si me equivoco.
Pedro Guevara is a former WBC champion, and he has been fairly inactive due to the pandemic and things outside his control. And his petition to participate in a final elimination. Number 2 contender is Andrew Maloney. We would like to hear from his brother.
Jason Maloney speaking on behalf of my brother, Andrew. He would love that fight. Thank you very much.
Excellent. You want to represent your brother in a face-off again? Okay, so are there any other comments from the floor? The WBC orders Andrew Maloney. Oh, I'm sorry, Richard.
Richard Shea from Probellum. I just have a question, which I'd like you to clarify. Does the winner of Estrada and Chocolatito has the right to a voluntary defense?
Yes.
I think that was requested yesterday by Matchroom, right?
Yeah, thank you for the... They are fighting December 3rd, and by the time this fight takes place, the winner can have a voluntary. So,
Okay, great. Thank you.
So, for the amendment, the winner of Estrada, Gonzalez, has a voluntary, and Pedro Guevara against Maloney.
Sí, en lo entendido de que, pues, después de esta, pues, entiendo que esta pelea es una pelea mandatoria por ser un título vacante. También entiendo que después de esto viene una pelea voluntaria para el ganador, pero sí me gustaría que se respetara eso del quien saliera el ganador de la eliminatoria, de la que hago petición.
¿Y por qué tanta desconfianza? ¿Qué hemos hecho que no?
No, yo digo que es mi desespero ya por querer pelear por el campeonato del mundo y sobre todo este cinturón que es el más
chido.
Así es.
Ya está ordenada, campeón, su pelea con Maloney. El que gane será retador oficial y peleará contra el ganador de Estrada, González, después de una voluntaria.
Excelente, no hay nada que me haga más feliz que escuchar eso. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, felicidades.
Gracias.
Flyweight, Julio César Martínez is the WBC champion. Mac Williams Arroyo is the interim champion. Josué Morales is the silver champion. Is Coto Promotions in the room? Hector, Brian, they were here yesterday. Yes, very unfortunately, this fight between Martinez and Arroyo has been postponed 6 times. Never seen something like that. They were scheduled to fight December 3rd, and Arroyo sustained an injury. He has reported that he will continue fighting, so that fight has been postponed. There is a... Adelante, señor Brito.
¿Qué tal? Quisiera hacer la petición formal de... Nosotros ganamos la eliminatoria con el Camaleón Ayala. Le ganamos a Christopher Rosales en abril. Y hemos estado esperando la oportunidad porque sabemos que había un compromiso entre el interino y el actual campeón. Se ha pospuesto muchas ocasiones. Ayer la gente de Mushroom dijo que no tenía rival todavía para Rey Martínez el 3 de diciembre. Y el Camaleón Ayala está listo para pelear en esa fecha. Porque de hecho iba a pelear aquí en Acapulco, lo detuvimos esperando esta posición y ver la posibilidad de que ya se le dé la oportunidad que se ganó en abril al ganarle a Christopher Rosales. Muy bien.
Si logran cerrar la pelea de Ayala para el 3 de diciembre, será considerada la mandatoria.
Ok.
Como no es culpa de Martínez, él ya tiene la fecha. Si toman otra pelea, se le va a permitir.
Okay.
Y estamos esperando el reporte médico de Arroyo para confirmar cuál es su estatus. Lo que sí le aseguro es que Ayala es el retador oficial de la división.
Después de esta, o esperar el reporte de McWilliam, más o menos.
Vamos a ver el tema específico de Arroyo, así como lo de Charlo, y de ahí se decidirá cómo se procederá.
Bueno, esa era la petición.
Ok, muchas gracias. So WBC champion Martinez will fight December 3rd. If he fights Ayala, it will be the mandatory defense. If he fights against another opponent, Ayala is confirmed as mandatory, while we hear from McWilliams Arroyo medical status.
Any comments from the board? No comments from the board. We'll move to the next division, please.
Light flyweight, Kenshiro Teraji. He just unified in a sensational fight in Japan last week. Heke Butler won a final elimination from South Africa. He came to Mexico and won a close decision, but a decision which made South Africa very happy. So it is time for the mandatory of the division. So we order Heike Butler as mandatory to fight Kenshiro Teraji. Are there any comments from the floor?
No comments from the floor. Any comments from the board? In the absence of comments, are you going to do a recap or use the?
No, yes.
Okay, then we'll move to the last category.
Pania Pradasbari is the WBC champion. He defeated Wan Yang Menayotin in a rematch, and Pania is proved to be a sensational fighter, a sensational champion. ¿Cómo? Sí. Are there any comments from the floor?
Sí, buenas tardes. Alejandro Brito de Boxstars Promotions. Ayer solicitaba elevar a Luis Castillo, perdón, nuestro que hizo una eliminatoria semifinal en agosto, a una posición más alta, quedó como número 5, pero aquí estoy pidiendo que hagamos la eliminatoria final. Creo que tenemos mano, digamos, por haber hecho ya una eliminatoria semifinal para poder ser considerado mandatorio. Entonces solicitamos que nos den la oportunidad ya de ir por una eliminatoria final, para ir a después ser mandatorios para la pelea de título.
Luis Castillo won a semi-final elimination and is requesting to proceed with a final elimination for his fighter. We are going to order, my recommendation is to order Luis Castillo for a final elimination against Ayanda Ndua from South Africa. If he's not available, we will go to Melvin Jerusalem or Yudai Shigeoka. Are there any comments?
No, please.
Okay. Okay, so the WBC will order Luis Castillo against Ayanda as a final elimination for the mandatory position.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Any other comments from the board? If no comments, then
I would like to take a moment to recognize a very special person who is here sitting with us. He has been coming to many conventions with an absolute passion and dedication to represent his boxer. He has had a few boxers in his career. He doesn't take 4, 5, 6, 10, 20. He only takes 1 or 2 and gives his life to them. I wish to ask Roland Jankelson to please join us to receive a special award of recognition for your lifetime dedication to boxing and boxers. Rex?
Mañana.
Don Majeski, just a comment. I don't know how many of you people have had the privilege and pleasure of knowing or dealing with Roland Jankelson, but I've been in this business for 53 years, and this is the finest person I have ever met in this business, with maybe the exception of your dad. He is an exemplary example of what a manager should be. He gives 100% to his fighters. and takes the smallest percentage of any manager I've ever known in my life. I would hope that one day we ever have a Manager of the Year award, we name it the Roland Jenkinson WBC Manager of the Year, because he's an example. If anyone goes into this business, this is the kind of person you should be. And I wish to God I had been as good a person as he is. Thank you.
During the opening ceremony, which was prolonged, it took a little bit longer than we all expected. We had prepared to deliver two of the most important awards that we have during the conventions. So at this time, I would like to proceed with the Lifetime Achievement Award. This award is the culmination of the life of someone who has given everything to the sport of boxing. The person that this year is receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award has been involved for so many years, perhaps longer than anyone, and he has been a very important influence for the positive relationships of boxing in the world. When there were extreme difficulties between the British Boxing Board of Control and the world of the sport and the WBC, Charlie Giles came to rescue and to mediate that situation, and the British Boxing Board of Control returned to the WBC. It is my great pleasure and honor to award Charlie Giles the Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of the World Boxing Council.
I'm speechless, so honestly. I guess thank you. Well, no, came close. I really didn't expect. I thought I was looking at a name on this trophy, and it wasn't mine. And I really didn't expect anything. You don't on these occasions, but. I'm representing a fabulous organisation. I was one of the founder members of the WBC. I'm very proud of the British Boxing Board, and I'm extremely proud to be affiliated to the WBC. And my respect to an outstanding president, Maurizio Suleiman.
Thank you, my lord. Good. Oh, Charlie, if you can pick it up.
Yeah. Because it is solid silver.
Silver, yeah.
Just check it.
With gold inside.
I don't expect that. That's a good surprise. Thank you.
That is important. Today we have a very nice tour in Acapulco. Acapulco City is on the other side. We have been in the Zona Diamante, so we have the buses going out at 3:30. These are for whoever wants to attend. It is a beautiful visit to Acapulco and to see where the traditional cliff divers go into the ocean. Whoever wants to take this tour, please be promptly at 3:30 in the lobby, and then to return for the awards dinner that we have prepared for tonight. Tenemos más tarde un tour que es una visita al viejo Acapulco. Es algo espectacular para ver los clavados en la quebrada. Quien desea asistir, nos dará mucho gusto verlos ahí, porque es algo verdaderamente especial, sobre todo para quien nunca lo ha visto. Después de eso es la cena de premiación que se llevará a cabo aquí en las instalaciones del hotel. ¿Qué decías, perdón? The dinner tonight is at 8. It's here in the hotel grounds at the promenade. ¿Qué es eso? where we met for the opening cocktail. That's a promenade. That is to avoid the ants that we had on the beach. So ponte el letrero de la pelea. On Friday, we have a boxing event that is going to be free for all WBC attendants to the convention. Whoever wants to attend, let us know so we can arrange the tickets. Today, there's a press conference for that fight here at 2:30. We are free for the rest of the afternoon. Whoever wants to go to the tour, you are more than welcome, and then we will see you for the dinner. Vamos a tener la conferencia de prensa a las 2:30 para la pelea, para la función de este viernes, que será en Ole, Acapulco, Ole. El resto de la tarde es libre. Quien quiera ir al tour está más que bienvenido, y quien guste, y los esperamos en la cena de premiación, que es a las 8 de la noche, precisamente donde fue el cóctel. Yes, Don.
I would like to, I made a request yesterday about considering the name change from the US NBC to the US WBC for the United States World Boxing Council title. Unfortunately for me, but fortunately for everybody here, I have to leave early tomorrow, so I wouldn't be at a session. Is it possible to request a vote now, if you can accept that name change?
Sure.
Thank you.
Don Majeski has requested to modify the name of a championship committee that we have, which is called the USNBC, US National Boxing Council. So, or championship. His request is to name it USWBC.
Before we do the motion, and that done, and the board, that would be obviously giving the committee the opportunity to transition. If they have belts left, they can use their old belts until they use them all, materials. There will be a transition time. Given the transition time, Usyk-Joshua makes a motion, and Bismarck Morales seconds it. All of those in favor, please raise your hand. So the USNBC Championship Committee is now the USWBC Championship Committee.
I thank you for myself, and I'll take the audacity to thank you on behalf of all your champs who now know they are a WBC champ when they win that U.S. title. Thanks.
Tomorrow we will begin the sessions at 10 a.m. So let's have a great day. Enjoy. There's so many people to meet each other. Go to the bar, to the beach, to the tour, and I'll see you all at the dinner, 8 p.m. Thank you very much. Please, we need you to look at all the cartoons. Whoever wants to vote, we are closing the voting for the cartoon process that we did. We started. It's a sensational collaboration from kids all over the world. Thank you very much.